We have Burnett Thompson on the line. Burnett, welcome to WPFW.
Well, thank you, Rusty, and thanks so much for playing the music. As you know, I mentioned we're a blues alley with this album, and it's still relatively fresh. We're there next Tuesday, the 25th, and I'm very excited about this. Alex will be coming down from New York, and of course Hamid will be there as well. So, we're just keeping it alive.
Well, this is really unique, and now this is music from Haiti from the 17th century. How did you transcribe it, or where did you find the transcription? How was this done?
This took a long time. I did the Reformation project before this, and then the Chinese traditional project before that. So I was used to digging around. And in the Reformation project, I was able to get into a mother lode of folk music from Eastern Europe and Central Europe from the 11th century and thereafter. A lot of really amazing music to choose from. As we move forward to the 17th century in the Americas, which is really where I was headed, it took a couple of years, and I finally on some librarians at the Library of Congress. I have to tell your audience, if you go to loc.gov and you hit the button that says Ask a Librarian, you can ask them what you're looking for or tell them. And a couple of weeks later, you've pretty much forgotten that you sent that note. And you get an in-depth response, and that's what happened. And the librarians there directed me to these archives of very specific explorers, and there wasn't much. To tell you the truth, it was an explorer in West Africa, in Gambia, and Ghana, and in the mid 18th century, and then. Another explorer, very complicated, but to keep it short, who was in the Caribbean and especially looking for flora and fauna in Haiti and San Domingue, as they called it, and Dominican Republic and so forth. And there happened to be, in both cases, there were musicians who could transcribe the melodies that they were hearing. So that's the short story of how we came into this, but it took a long time to find it.
And that was also true for the Native American music that you came across also?
Very much so. We stumbled into French explorers in Quebec and in the Midwest, Illinois, Wisconsin. Those were French settlements. And also in Brazil, Portuguese explorers from the 15th century, 16th century. They were earlier than the Northern Europeans, and various people transcribed melodies with the texts as well, which I didn't delve into, but we did do the melodies. And with Alex Blake and Hamid, everybody seemed to I don't know, it all fell together quite nicely, as you can hear in the recording.
And how do you make this sound so contemporary? That's the real secret.
That's the question that I'm always asked. So with the Chinese project, as you recall, we took folk music of the far southwest mountains of China. So these are ethnic minorities that migrate all from India all the way into Vietnam, down to Indonesia, and so forth. You have 25 official minorities down there, and I was able to do that in jazz clubs in Beijing and Xi'an, solo concert, just solo piano in Shenzhen, with an opera singer singing full voice in Shanghai, and I don't know how or why, but it all translates somehow. And we found with the Reformation project, it was similar. I had jazz ensembles in Prague and London and New York. Of course, we did that with Alex. And I guess I would have to say, Rusty, a melody is a melody.
Okay. Fantastic. So before we talk about what's coming up next week, tell us a little bit about your piano series. You have one more in that piano series coming up, don't you?
Well, that's true. And as I mentioned to you, it's been going on now for 13 years. And I hate to see it just disappear. It has a tremendous audience. We're always in overflow these days. But people forget these things happen. So I've been developing a kind of a digestible archive, which started in 2013 with the piano in the White House. And without going deeply into it, it was concerts there's been music in the White House since the time of George Washington. And that's been well documented by Dr. Elise Kirk, and we got her involved. And then after that, we developed what was called Piano Jazz DC and Piano Jazz in the Arts Club. So that has to date been about 44 jazz pianists, largely from New York, or based in New York, people like Orrin Evans and Elu, Alan Broadbent, Yoko Miwa, who's going to be here next week, Miki Yamanaka. We've kind of had everybody.
You certainly have. It's
notable
been
exceptions. Yeah. So it's something I'm very proud of. It's a lot of work, Rusty, as you know, and you've been very closely involved because you interviewed everybody.
It's been a real delight. It has been. So who's coming up in May?
Well, a young man named Spike Wilner.
Absolutely. Who also has the clubs up in New York, Smalls and Mesro, yeah, right. Mesro. A unique person to name a club after, that's for sure. Spike is an incredible pianist in his own right, but he's been very important in terms of keeping the music alive up in New York.
I honestly don't know how he did it.
Well, I don't know how you do what you do either, but that's another story.
Look, what I do in a year, Spike does in one night.
Right. Okay. Okay. So again, let's conclude with what's happening next week.
So we're at Blues Alley. The two sets. It's a 7 and a 9:30. Alex is coming down from New York, and Hamid is here, and we're basically going to run just like we did at Decatur House. We're going to run the whole album in each set, and of course it'll be different each time. It's always very exploratory. It's always very improvisational and so forth. But we kind of take these melodies and run with them. They are Native American from Brazil to Utah to Illinois, of course, in French, to Quebec, and then the African music in West Africa, and then also a modern African tune from Burkina Faso by Mamadou Diabate. Wow. Which is a fantastic tune, and another traditional tune from West Africa. And then we do some European tunes from the 13th and 14th century.
So here's what we do musically. I have queued up the Illinois dance song from Native American. I'm going to play Alex Blake with Randy Weston after that, and then conclude with Ashanti melody, so we'll get the African back in from Guinea.
Super.
So,
I was going to say, Alex, the legacy, the African Rhythms Legacy Band will go on forever. Mm-hmm. They travel all over the world, and Alex is here this weekend for something. Then he goes back home and comes back down from Blues Alley. So.
Okay, so, it's been a real delight talking with you, Burnett, and again, the music keeps on going. American Rhapsody is really fascinating.
And Rusty, thank you. I can't thank you enough for your involvement and the interviews. We now have well over 100.
Wow.
And, they're all archived. So that's been important to me. These things don't disappear.
Well, it's been a real delight to have you archive my interviews with all these great musicians. So here now is the Illinois dance song with, again, our guest tonight, Burnett Thompson on piano, Alex Blake on bass, and Hamid Habib Zadah on tabla. And again, a unique trio. Thanks again, Burnett. Really, really appreciate the conversation.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.